Right.
And Dr. Pidluzny, you are now recognized for your 5 minutes of testimony.
It's an honor to address the Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. Thank you, Chairman Raskin, Ranking Member Mace, and members of the subcommittee. For the last 26 years, the American Council of Trustees and Alumni has been working to protect academic freedom and free expression in American higher education. We are grateful for this opportunity to address these critical issues. The data show conclusively, I think, that the problem of academic censorship has reached crisis levels on our college campuses. Instances of speaker disinvitations on the basis of viewpoint, intimidating shoutdowns, and academic cancellations are a routine feature of campus life today, with documented examples running well into the hundreds. Mountains of survey research data demonstrate that the current campus climate chills free and open discourse. To take one of many, many examples, a forthcoming active survey of students at 12 elite liberal arts colleges found that 59% report that they are somewhat or very uncomfortable publicly disagreeing with a professor. Only 32% said that their administration makes it very or extremely clear that free speech is protected. 54% said that they self-censor themselves, at least occasionally, and 41% say that it is always or sometimes acceptable to shout down a speaker. Student self-censorship appears to be linked to low levels of ideological diversity among professors. Among students who reported self-censoring very often, 67% said that increasing the faculty viewpoint diversity would improve the climate for campus expression. Studies of viewpoint diversity in the professoriate have found severe imbalances by political affiliation, with registered Democrat to Republican ratios reaching as high as 60-1 on some campuses. Available evidence suggests that these disparities are not accidental. 55% of academic philosophers and 38% of social psychologists admit to at least some level of willingness to discriminate against conservatives in the faculty hiring process. Hundreds of universities have gone so far as to build bias response teams to investigate student and faculty speech. Students have used them to report on others for watching Ben Shapiro, for ableist comments like "on the other hand." They've reported faculty for giving a wrong look, and young Republicans for every conceivable instance of wrongthink. All of this in the hope of setting off a burdensome investigation that will at least be reputation damaging, even where the speech is protected. Universities that encourage students to inform on their peers and professors create an anti-intellectual dynamic reminiscent of a Soviet police state, where nobody knows what it is safe to say or who it is safe to talk to. 2 appeals courts have ruled that bias response teams are exerting an unconstitutional chilling effect, and yet hundreds remain in operation. Since this hearing is also concerned with K-12, I'd like to make 3 points specific to it. First, K-12 schools are funded by taxpayers because their mission is to advance the public interest. Curricular standards should therefore balance the concerns of families, policymakers, school board officials, and business leaders while leveraging the expertise of educators. Not long ago, school districts around the country were removing To Kill a Mockingbird and Huck Finn from reading lists because of the N-word, which features prominently. That doesn't mean Mark Twain and Harper Lee had their books banned. It means communities made a judgment about curricular value, however much many may disagree with it. Second, conversations about public school curriculum should be occurring at the state and local levels. The framers understood that educating children is a paramount parental responsibility. It can be delegated to others, but it is precisely the kind of function that should be kept close to the people. In a federal democracy, local communities will settle on different policies and teach different books. That is the essence of representative government. Third, it is the responsibility of public school systems to teach materials that are age appropriate. The American Library Association's list of the top 10 most challenged books helps us to understand what the real issue that brings us here is today. The first and second entries on the list, Gender, Queer, and Lawn Boy, are so graphic that parents reading them at school board meetings have repeatedly been stopped because the content is so obscene. When school board members judge content too hot for adults to handle, it isn't censorship to remove them from school libraries. It's their responsibility. If public school systems were systematically targeting the writings of, say, civil rights leaders in response to parental or political pressure, I would not be here testifying today. As Justice Harry Blackmun has written, school officials may not remove books for the purpose of restricting access to the political ideas or social perspectives discussed in them. That is not what is happening in the majority of these cases. These books are being challenged generally because they contain age-inappropriate sexual content that is neither necessary to create an inclusive learning environment nor uniquely well-suited to promote diversity of thought. In conclusion, the most serious threats to free speech in an academic context are occurring in higher education today, not K-12. On our campuses, self-censorship is endemic, viewpoint discrimination is the norm, and students and faculty are routinely targeted by school-sponsored bias response teams for the political content of their speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your thoughtful testimony, and Ms. Berg, you are now recognized for your